The other verse that I want to give attention to is Job 26:7. The NIV translates it, "He spreads out the northern skies over empty space. He suspends the earth over nothing." It's worth paying attention to because some readers have looked at that last phrase, suspending the earth over nothing, and have drawn the conclusion that somehow in the book of Job they know about the earth just kind of hanging in orbit, held by gravity and centripetal force and all of those things, which I think is very unreasonable thought that the book assumes that or anticipates that, and it really doesn't accord with the word. So let's take a quick look at it. In the first part of the line, he spreads out the northern skies. The word for north is tzaphon. It's a fairly normal Hebrew word for north, but it also refers to Mount Tzaphon, the Canaanite mountain where the gods dwelt. And its significance, therefore, lies not in its orientation with the points of the compass, but in its use as a reference to the sacred mountain that's known in the literature outside of Israel, and even in Israel. Some of the Psalms do that as well. So Tzaphon is more than just a direction here. If we understand it as referring to the cosmic mountain has its foundations in the netherworld and its heights in the heavens, and the divine council meets at its heights. It's the meeting place of heaven and earth, and the convening place for the assembly of the gods, and thus their dwelling place, heaven. So I'm taking Tzaphon then as that sort of reference. The verb, he spreads out, Tzaphon, spreads out, noteh is a Hebrew word, suggests that he's talking about the heavens, since this verb usually takes heaven as its object in biblical cosmology texts. Now, so he's spreading out something heavenly, tzaphon, over empty space. This word empty space is tohu, and it's known from Genesis 1:2, tohu vavohu, formless and void. And both in Genesis 2 and in the other 30-plus occurrences that we find of the word, it refers to that which is non-existent in the sense that it's non-ordered, non-functional. And so this is the non-ordered world. So the idea that God spreads out the heavenly tzaphon, over tohu, over that which is non-existent. What's usually referred to as non-existent is the cosmic waters. I know we think that existence has to do with material, but they didn't in the ancient world. They believed that existence had to do with function and order. So something material, that we judge material, could also be non-existent. They considered the oceans non-existent. They considered the deserts non-existent because they were not ordered into the human realm and functioning for them. So here the idea that Tzaphon is spread out over tohu is an indication of the cosmic waters above, the non-existent, non-functional, non-ordered cosmic waters above, over which the heavens were indeed stretched. Psalm 104, verses 2 and 3. Tohu in the first line parallels the unique phrase bilima in the second line. That's the word that again NIV translates nothing. This is the only place this word occurs, and of course that makes a very difficult situation for us. We usually determine the meanings of words by their usage. If we don't have other examples of usage, we are hampered in trying to understand the meaning of the word. The idea that it's matterless space in which the earth is suspended would be anachronistic. Nobody in the ancient world or in Hebrew Bible knows anything about such things. Again, with the Egyptian sense of the non-existent, it refers to that which lacks function or order. The verb in this second clause is the verb tala, which means to suspend. It often refers to a form of execution, to hang someone. It's better translated suspended on, as they would hang someone on a picket or something of that sort, or on a tree. Okay, better translated suspended on, not over. Even the word earth in this sentence is not straightforward. We would think that would be an easy one. But in a few instances, both from the Hebrew Bible and from the ancient Near Eastern cognate languages, it's also used to refer to the netherworld. And so here I think Eretz should be a reference not to the earth itself, but to the netherworld. So, we have both tohu in the first line and belima in the second that describe the non-existent, such as the cosmic waters, which we know we have cosmic waters above, cosmic waters below. We have Zaphon, which talks about the realm above, and we have Eretz, which talks about the realm below. Therefore, my rendering would be, heaven is stretched out over cosmic non-existence. Earth is suspended on the non-existent. And so you get the waters above and the waters below. These two verses that we've talked about are just examples of the difficulties that we face in the book of Job. When we open up an English translation, we often have this idea that somehow everything's been worked out and that the text is understood. But especially in Hebrew Bible, that's not necessarily the case. There's still lots of words that pose problems to us, or that whose meanings are unknown, or maybe whose meanings are generally known, but the full nuances are difficult to capture in English words. We encounter syntax difficulties, especially in poetic texts, and so we face a lot of problems. Translators do the best they can. Commentators try to shed light on it all. Everyone's working together to try to come to the best understanding of the text possible. The book of Job, as I've mentioned, is particularly difficult. And so we find these problems such as the two that we've just mentioned.